Welcome to Extraordinary Adventures.
We're going to start a thing with that.
Oh, are you?
Huh?
Are you?
No, we're going to start a thing with that. People are going to see us on a ship one day, and they'll be like, hey! Blooper reel. Anyway, go ahead. You were saying.
No, I don't even. What were we saying?
You were saying your name.
Oh!
All right, I'm Scott from Extraordinary Adventures, and that one over there is Laura. She's having
Laura.
A day.
Spirit fingers.
We are joined today by one of these continuing series of people from the cruise lines who've been so gracious with their time and sharing the knowledge of their line with us. Today we're joined by Eva Damato. She is the Senior Manager of National Strategic Accounts for Seabourn. She's going to go on into the luxury line and the expedition ships. And Seabourn was a great cruise. We did one back in March of 22, right?
Yes. We went on the Panama Canal. We did a 14-night Panama Canal. It was fabulous.
It's fabulous.
Absolutely fabulous. I look back on that cruise with such fond memories. So yeah, absolutely.
So, and you'll see why from Eva's talk as to why it was so amazing. So, and then you'll hopefully you'll book one right away. And don't forget to like and subscribe with the notification bell on. That's very important because I like that when you do that. That's why it's important.
If you are looking to book a cruise, whether it's Seabourn or any other cruise line, we are cruise travel agents and we would absolutely love to help you. We don't charge a fee to book and manage your cruise. Plus, if you do book with us, we offer expert planning advice as well as answer any questions that you might have. So please do reach out to us. We'd love to help you plan your next extraordinary adventure.
Tagline. All right, well, enjoy Scott and Laura talking to Eva Damato. Take it away, Lauren Scott.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Scott and Laura, for giving it to us. We're going to take it away, and we are going to welcome our very special guest, Eva Damato, who is, I've written it down, the Senior Manager of National Accounts for Seabourn Cruises. Welcome, Eva. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Laura, for having me.
Absolutely.
We are so excited that you are here. As you know, we have been on a Seabourn cruise before, and it was extraordinary. We absolutely loved it. And we wanted to get you on our channel to talk a little bit more about Seabourn because we just found it just so extraordinary. We want all of the YouTube land to know how extraordinary Seabourn is and that they should definitely go on a Seabourn cruise.
You really should.
Yeah.
I love that.
Scott,
I'm super happy to hear that, first and foremost, of course. And I actually saw a little bit of your YouTube, your celebrities, so I had to check out the YouTube channel and see what you thought, and you kind of were spot on, so we'll talk a lot about that today.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
So as I start off everyone, I like to always get a little bit about who you are and your personal and professional history. So what made you get into the world of cruising, vacation, hospitality, resort, leisure, wherever you started? Like Dave had this winding road, and then Lionel had a different, like everybody's got a different road. What was your road into the world of
I have a tough act to follow. I guess it was sort of by accident in a way that I found hospitality. I always really enjoyed sales. I wanted to be in sales. But when I was growing up, I grew up in Long Island, New York, and I knew that I did not want to stay on Long Island when it came time for college. So my family had always vacationed down here, always had a condo down here in South Florida. So I immediately looked at only colleges in South Florida, and I was going to go to school for fashion. So loved fashion, loved the industry, and wanted to just do anything and everything in it. Moved down here, came to Florida, went to Lynn University in Boca Raton, and was studying fashion for a very short period of time. I tell you, about 6 months I studied it before I immediately thought to myself, I don't think I want to do this every day. I mean, I love it, but it's something that is kind of more of an internal love that I can just enjoy and celebrate. But I went back into sales and marketing, but just with a general focus. So I completely just kind of changed it around, didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know where I wanted to go. Still kind of thought I had a bit of a fashion background that I was going to be able to go with. But I graduated college and a family member told me, oh, you should probably get a job at the Breakers, which is a luxury independent family-owned resort in Palm Beach. And I said, there is a hospitality school and I did not go to that. So I said, there's no way. I have no hospitality experience. I didn't go to school for it. I don't see myself working in a hotel at all. And anyways, fast forward, I did work in the hotel and I worked in a couple different positions. I started as a valet cashier, a coordinator at the time. So I was handing off keys to all the valet runners and it was just honestly so much fun. I feel like I could have done that job forever. Because you're just standing outside, you have some sunshine, the beautiful cars, beautiful scenery. It really wasn't a bad role. And then because I love that sales experience, I wanted to move into reservations and really sell kind of the rooms and the property and even more so the destination. Which then brought me to my next position where I worked as a destination marketing organization for the Palm Beaches. So because I learned so much about the history and the area, I loved it so much that I then worked there. And while I was working there, I really fell in love with Seabourn and to the point where I might have been even a little kind of crazy about it because I kept introducing myself and talking about it because the brand, we'll get into it, but the brand was designed by the same designer of the Breakers. So it was almost like a full circle. And I just loved the fact of being on the water and being on the ships and having that design transfer over and transition over and love it. And so I'm here today and definitely different than hotel world, but extremely, extremely fun and really like taking guests to multiple different destinations over just the one.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah. Awesome. So I have one other question for you, and that is, we know that people can call Seabourn directly and book a Seabourn cruise. But my question to you is, there's also all these travel agents out here. And why do you feel like it's a better idea to contact a travel agent as opposed to calling and booking a Seabourn cruise directly? Or do you feel it's better?
Yeah. Yeah. So that is a great question, Laura. It is wildly important to be booking through a travel advisor. And there are so many different layers and so many different reasons. And it's actually a little bit of a hot topic for me because I have my girlfriends, for instance, they'll go on a trip and they won't have the time to cater to their own trip, but they won't necessarily use a travel advisor. No matter how much I tell them you should use a travel advisor because they have the time to cater to your trip. You have a full-time job. Their full-time job is to cater to making sure everything on your trip is absolutely perfect. And instead they'll just ask me as if I know everything and what I'm doing. Well, you work. And I said, well, that is what you're doing right now is what you need an advisor for. Another thing is if you really have to think about it. You would not invest in your 401k or your financial portfolio of any sort with a dentist. Like you won't do it. So you should probably let the professional that's handling your 401k just transfer that over and let the professional handle your vacation because that's who's dedicated and has the time. Travel advisors have so many different partnerships. They have so many different relationships with like you both, myself, that we can kind of have our own sidebar conversation and say, oh, I don't know if this is right for the guest, or let's steer them in this direction. And we talk candidly about that. They won't get that from likely just calling, a destination or an area and just asking questions. They're not going to be able to get that tailored made service that an advisor offers. And I really like the word advisor over agent, because you really are advising. You're creating that portfolio for them. You're creating that 401k. The list goes on. The list goes on. There's so many additional amenities for particularly little to no extra cost that guests can receive just because of your relationships, because of your affiliations. There's all these additions that just make their stay that much better. It comes down to a lot of time and a lot of knowledge, I think, but absolutely, it's better to have a travel advisor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the way Lionel from Azamara had said it. And I think you probably would say the same about Seabourn, is that Seabourn's in business and they want beds in heads.
Heads in beds.
It's my job. Heads in beds. Heads in, you probably don't want to put a bed in your head. A head in a bed. See, those are the bloopers I told you we'd keep in.
I'll have a couple of those during the webinar too, Scott, so it's fine.
Seabourn wants you to put a head in a bed. It's our job to make sure it's the right bed. So if you want this suite, if you want port side or starboard, what itinerary, like Seabourn just wants your money and they want you in. But I want you to have the best vacation possible so that, and sometimes that might not be Seabourn. That might be Silversea or Azamar or somebody. Our job is to advise. Obviously, we're going to advise on Seabourn a lot because we love Seabourn. We love the product. We loved being on it last year, and we'll go on it in a heartbeat. But that still doesn't answer the question of what itinerary, what ship, where on the ship, what type of accommodations you want. So there's a lot more to it. And again, Seabourn only just wants you in the ship somewhere. As long as you're somewhere, they want you. I liked his analogy when you said that.
And that's a very great analogy. We've done a lot of the heavy lifting to make sure we are streamlining the guests' wants and needs on the ship. And then it's up to you guys to really make us look successful and make you all look successful at the end of the day.
Great.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
So what do you think, Hannah? Are we ready for the main presentation?
I think we are. Take it away.
I'm ready to kick it off. Ooh, let's see here.
Looks good to me.
I see it. Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me on. Thanks for letting me spend the time with you both and really go over Seabourn, because I know that there's a lot that you experienced, but hopefully we can take a deeper dive into that and just thank you for the partnership, because as we mentioned, it's super important to have with you. Again, my name is Eva Damato. I am your Senior Manager of National and Strategic Accounts. But really what that means is I am here for Laura and Scott and all of their clients and making sure that we find something and create a really perfect vacation for everyone. But so when we think about Seabourn, we really think about the destinations. We are super proud of what we have here with our brand. We go to 460 ports. So we touch all 7 continents, and we have really new exciting news as to how we're touching these continents. But we were actually one of the first to be partnered with UNESCO as well. So when we're going to these destinations, what we really think is our guests are travelers. They're not tourists. They want to see the destination. They want to touch, feel, experience the destination. And we deliver that because we really specialize in making sure guests are getting in there and experiencing it to its fullest and making sure that we're creating a really great impact for the destination, because not everyone thinks about when you're going into ports, when you're going into really big ports, some of that impact does not go to the destination. So one of the ideals that Seabourn had was to partner with UNESCO to make sure we were hitting the right spots and really creating that tourism impact for the good. We have 3 different classes, as you'll see here. So we started with the Seabourn Odyssey. Actually, we started in 1990 as a company, but if you notice here, it says 2009 when the Seabourn Odyssey started sailing. So we have one of the most modern fleets in the small ship luxury cruising business, in which small ships, you go into smaller ports. So if you'll notice, these ships are holding no more than 600 guests. So the first class, that first fleet, you see the Odyssey, Sojourn, Quest, those are 458 guests. And then we graduated a little bit. We added an additional deck and an additional restaurant that we can talk more about. But we have our Seabourn Encore Innovation that came out next. And that was at 600 guests. And that is our largest ship. So 600 guests is a very small ship. You are truly feeling like you are on a yacht. And prior to coming into cruising, I actually didn't notice how much of a difference there are in the ships. But I knew that I loved the small ship idea because I knew the ports that we would go into. And just the smaller impact on sustainable options that creates. And then we moved into Seabourn Venture and Pursuit. So now 264 guests, we have sailing on our expedition ships. So this is the look and feel and the kind of the heart of every ship. So with every ship, there's a simplicity to the design, as well as each ship kind of carries over. So there's a lot of similarities with them. And you'll see that rounded kind of lobby area. This is a great meeting point. This is going to be the deck where the restaurant is in all of our ships. So the main restaurant is really just at the end of this staircase. And it basically starts up from there. So everything fun and all the entertainment and activities are happening just above this deck. When we talk about our suites, all of our suites are oceanfront. So follow me here. So we have all oceanfront suites in the first fleet of ships. So Odyssey, Sojourn, and Quest. We do have oceanfront suites without verandas. So a very small amount. So 90% of our suites, in addition to being oceanfront, have full verandas. And it is super nice to make sure you go out and you have your coffee, your champagne, your caviar, and enjoy the deck space. Because there's no interior rooms. So there's absolutely no reason to not be enjoying the ocean, because that is where you are. You're really on the cruise ship. You really should be kind of connected to the ocean. And when you sit down on your veranda, you pull into these ports, you can actually see the city life and some things that are happening within these ports. Every suite also has a double vanity sink with a separate bath and shower option. And all offering that kind of separation. So you're on 7, 14, 21-day cruises. You can go ahead and close that curtain. That curtain is a rather heavy curtain. So as the suites get bigger, we'll kind of take a look at this suite, but as the suites get larger, they give you more room and they provide an even more interior closure, such as the door or a lanai kind of closed in area. But you can close every single suite to make that separation. And I laugh because I had taken my honeymoon with my husband, and we were on 14 days, and I did not have to close it once. So we're doing good. We made it through. We didn't have to close the curtain at all. But it is nice, just in case you want to read or just in case you want to have that separation. There's no single bedrooms. And as we go through the suites, I'm not going to show you every single suite, but that was a veranda suite. So really your starting accommodation in most of our ships. And then we'll move into a signature suite. So this is one of our largest suites. You can see that the closure is much different. You have the door to the bedroom, so you can really close it off. And then you have additional living space, dining space. And one of the most beautiful things about the signature suite is it's right there on the front of the ship. And it has almost a 360 balcony there to view absolutely everything going on outside. So it really is just almost a full panoramic view there. And
that's awesome.
It's really, really beautiful. And also you can see, as I mentioned, designer, Adam Tahani, he had designed this room. And one of the things I love about this room, he's really known for curved edges and paying a ton of attention to detail. And I love this sofa here because it has this wooden curvature on it and then these beautiful plush sofa patterns. So it was just a really unique kind of different design take that we just fell in love with and continuously had him design our ships. Now, our suites do connect, so you have connecting options for larger families because most of our suites are really going to sleep 4 or 5 comfortably. So you add on those connecting veranda suites. So the signature suite here will connect to a veranda suite, opening up to much more space. And even some of our veranda suite rooms do connect as well. So if you have, a family of 4 and they just want to break off, you can always do that as well. So they'll range anywhere from 300 to a little under 1,000 square feet in each suite. And then when you enter Seabourn, this is something that everybody will find out if they don't already know right off the bat. When you come onto a Seabourn ship, when you enter your room, you will be welcomed by a suite host and a suite attendant who will be there for your entire stay with you. So we do have champagne and canapes, which are typically caviar that are served. Seabourn is known for champagne and caviar. You can order it at any point during the day. But they'll go ahead and bring that to their room. Did I hear something, Scott?
And people do. We saw a constant. With my eggs, can I get some caviar? Yeah. Can I get some caviar with my BLT? I'll just keep coming. It was funny.
Totally.
It was caviar
in
everywhere.
The restaurants, to your suite, it's caviar on tap. Really, is what it is. But it's such a nice opportunity and excellent to have. And you have your suite host and suite attendant. And I just want to make sure that we let you know that that's for any suite that you're in. So oceanfront suite and higher. Seabourn has simply created a way to simplify things. We feel that every guest should have the luxuries of being on the Seabourn ship. So we don't start things at a certain suite level, right? Everyone gets the same amenities. Everyone has a suite host and suite attendant, and we don't call it a butler. They're truly there for you, really just kind of to lend a helping hand to whatever you need. We can draw the bath for you that you see here in the Winter Garden suite, set up a cocktail party, whatever it is that you might want done while you're staying with us. Now, with that being said, there is a way to receive a couple extra amenities throughout your stay, and that's in some of the larger suites. So we know that guests are typically always looking for that extra special service, and although everyone has the same service, there are little little cheat ways to get a couple extra things. Like, for instance, this list shows you that there's a complimentary private car and airport transfer up to 50 miles in our owner suite or above. So certain things to look out for. The spa has an enhanced amenities. So they have the enhanced shampoos and body washes that are used in the spa. So all of our products are Molten Brown. That is that's one of our partnerships. But the spa also has Elemis products, which are also found in the spa suite. So you also have an additional concierge when you're staying in the spa suite because you have the spa concierge there. So just something to keep in mind if we are looking for those additional add-ons.
I know. I'm like, what?
Makes me want to go back.
It's such a beautiful ship. So we're taking a look at, I think it actually looks like Encore over here, but kind of a day and a night shot. And really what you see here in the middle is called the retreat. So this is your midship. This is your main pool. You'll have a whirlpool in the front of the ship, as well as our Encore Innovation have a smaller pool and whirlpools in the back of the ship as well. But this is where the patio is, your Earth and Ocean restaurant at night. This is where on some of the cruises we'll have Dancing Under the Stars as well. So usually one in every 7 days we have Dancing Under the Stars where the DJ comes out at night. and everybody just really enjoys the beautiful lights and beautiful scenery and really the ocean and the views because you're right there. So it's totally serene. But what I love about our ships are they are super flexible. So guests really have the option to create their own stay. Now, when you're looking at these pictures, I'm not sure if they do them justice, but we actually have one of the highest guest to space ratios on board. And that is extremely important as we're coming out of post-COVID because we think about cruising and some just think, there's a ton of people and everyone's all over the place. And that is not even close to what is happening here. So just want to point that out because there's a ton of space. You have a second deck there. And again, you only have 600 guests at most on the ship at any given moment. I mean, there's crews that are bigger than 600. So really special. And you have that opportunity to create your own personal space, create your own area. You can go to the retreat, which is a private bungalow section, if you will, with its own flat screen TVs, own personal concierge for the day. Or you can really get together with everybody. It's a social, flexible atmosphere. There's really no dress code on board per se. The dress code is called casually elegant. So what that means is we not super formal every night. There's one formal night, so you can pack your ball gown and your jackets, but actually on the ship, jackets are appropriate but not required. So something that Seabourn has done really well is create that country club or yacht club atmosphere. It's truly a social club on board. And we'll actually kind of talk a little bit more about that. But guests just love to engage with each other. And then it goes a step further and they're engaging with the Seabourn conversations and learning about the destinations that they're going to, or learning how to play cards or wine tastings. So, and then they're constantly doing it together because we do have those travelers, as I mentioned. So a lot of those like-minded individuals, and they like to be with each other and travel with each other and know the next best place to go. So on our ships, we'll have, of course, mouth-watering dining. This was one of the things that I thought maybe I was a little nervous about, if I'm being honest, when I came over to the cruise side, right? I couldn't picture how you could make dining experiences so good on a cruise ship. And we've done it. We've completely done it. So we have about 6 restaurants on board. And I say about because the ships are nearly identical. But on some of the larger ships, we have sushi. So sushi is the additional dining restaurant that we don't have on the first class of ship. We also serve sushi in our expedition ship, but it's served in the club. So I always say about. We have about 6 restaurants on board because they just differ just a little bit, just a smidgen between ships. But here we have the Thomas Keller Grill. So amazing option. This is one of our partnerships. So Thomas Keller is known for French laundry. We do have the Thomas Keller Grill on board. So think American classical steakhouse, truly the classics with a tableside Caesar salad. So watching her pour the egg and the Parmesan cheese and the cream and mix it all up is mouthwatering. So by the time it hits the table in front of you, you've already eaten it all with your eyes. But really great partnership to have. And you get to make one. This is the only restaurant that we have that you have to make a reservation just in advance. So you have one reservation per every 7 days. So really, really simple. You can just go ahead. You can make it pre your cruise or while you're on board. You can always check with our guest relations department because there could be an opportunity to get in maybe more than once if the restaurant hasn't filled up, but it does typically fill up because it's just such a great option. Another option that I just pictured here was Earth and Ocean. This is our restaurant that is done on the patio each night. So the patio kind of transforms a little bit. And at night, there's this unique kind of Mediterranean, sort of upbeat dining experience, because there is lounge music. There's an electronic lounge music. It really is a different atmosphere than some of the rest of our dining experiences. And they do a lot of Mediterranean and a lot of locally inspired dishes. And what that is the cured chicken pate, and that comes on with a plate of tapas and spreads to use. You get bread, and the bread is extremely fresh and soft, and the pates are super flavorful, whether it's olive or sun-dried tomato. And they go ahead and bring that out, and the smoke just smells amazing.
It was my favorite restaurant on the ship. Yeah, hands down.
I totally agree. I love it. I love the feeling. I love the atmosphere. Plus, you're under the stars. It's all outside, so you're under the stars the whole time.
Exactly.
We're really excited to have it.
Point of clarity, I want people to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you said make a reservation for Thomas Keller, that doesn't mean that any of these are an additional charge. These are not specialty like on the mass market cruise lines where you're paying for these things. They're all included, but you just have to reserve that one.
You are exactly right, Scott. And sometimes I forget. I almost forget sometimes to say all included. It's all included, and everything is flexible. So you do not have to make any reservations whatsoever. We actually don't even take reservations at our other restaurant. It's just specifically this because it's a very quaint restaurant and very well sought after. So want to make sure everybody gets a chance. As we mentioned, once you're a Seabourn guest, no matter what suite you're in, no matter what experience you're having, you are all entitled to the same amenities and same activities and experience. So I want to make sure everybody gets that opportunity. But all of our dishes are curated with Chef Tony Eager. He studied in Europe, he studied in Asia, and with Michelin-starred chefs. So no loss in quality or taste or really cultured dishes throughout the ship. So I must say, I was really wrong, really wrong with that thought process that I had before I came into cruise. Definitely surprised. We have an additional 8 bars and lounges on board. So it's a small ship with plenty to do. This is our club. So every night you'll go into the club, you'll listen to the live band as everything finishes off. So we have, deck parties, dinners, cocktail events happening. And then of course our wonderful entertainment, our dancers, our comedians, our singers each night. But after that all is completed and comes to a close, everybody will make their way into the club and listen to the live bands. And the club stays open until everyone's in there. So while I was on board, we have a really fun, if the band is done playing, we have a really fun jukebox where everybody gets involved and they all play their songs and the dancing continues. So the club is the pinnacle of where everybody's going to be at the end of the night. So of course, activities, shore excursions, our spa and wellness is unique in the sense that we are always happy to have our partnership with Andrew Weil. We're always looking for the next wellness activity. It's called Mindful Living. So he has his own program where he teaches you about how to eat, how to meditate, in addition to massage techniques, aromas, and all of the health benefits for you. So constantly looking at how to enhance the wellness that we have on board. And then I would be remiss if I did not talk about our Seabourn Journeys program and our overland activities. So we mentioned that we go into those small ports. We go into Cadiz, Sevilla, Cartagena, Valencia in Spain. We were in Las Palmas, Porto. So many beautiful ports, and there's so much activity and opportunity to really experience these ports even a little bit longer. So post-pandemic, all of our Seabourn Journeys and overland programs have come back, and we've actually added some more too. So we have pre-post in Portugal, in Spain. We have it in the Caribbean. We also have an overland program in India. So that the Amazon, South America. So the list goes on. But what these are is our Seabourn journeys is pre-post stays. So you can stay in a hotel, you can move different cities, and you can actually stay in those locations prior or after getting the ship and picking the ship up. The overland opportunities are when you are actually staying a couple of days in a destination and the ship may move on. We do have itineraries where we do have overnight stays. As well, we're in port for a really great amount of time during the day. So anywhere from 6 in the morning to about 10 at night. But if you do want to create a longer stay in any of these cities, because it's really great to be able to see both sides of the city, the night side, the day side, and really experience it to its fullest, you can do those overland activities as well. So we're really happy to have them. So I don't know if you've noticed a theme, and hopefully you noticed it on the ship, but we really try to create Seabourn moments. So everything that you see with Seabourn is really a part of a feeling.
Yeah.
But
I love the Seabourn moments are like one of the main reasons I feel that Seabourn is extraordinary are the Seabourn moments. I just absolutely love them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great place to work when you know that we're out there, and everyone's really proud of the work that they're doing. So from our team members to our shoreside employees, we always want to create just special moments. And there's almost two sides of the Seabourn moment perspective, if you will. There is the side where Seabourn ourselves, we're creating these moments. And then there's these special moments that sometimes are one-off moments and may happen for some, may not happen for some. And I'll give you an example of mine. But are created because our team is so empowered. They're happy to be there. They're happy to be doing what they're doing. It's really important that they smile. You know, we want team members that smile and make our guests feel welcome. And I think that we're always smiling because we're always sure about what we can do and how to create a special day for someone. But we have so many connections that are made on board, whether it's with our team or guests that connect, and they really love traveling with us and traveling together. So we do have guests that will go ahead and they'll travel on board, and then they'll meet friends and they'll want to go ahead and book a new cruise with their friends that they just met, and they'll sit down and they'll figure out what cruise they want to go on, and they can actually book a cruise on board. What I do want to say about this is anything that is booked would have your credit and your information attached to it. So if they go ahead and book a cruise on board, all of your information is attached and available for you. It just makes things kind of simple, but you can always go to Scott and Laura when you get home. Just make sure you keep the connections on board. But it's just a dual opportunity because we really try and simplify everything. But going back to the Seabourn moments, whether you're creating them with other guests or whether you're creating them on board, we do have a couple of moments that we really lay out for our guests and make it a little bit extra special. A couple of them are shown here. So we have Marina Day that takes place in Greece, where at the back of the ship, the swim platform, if you will, come out, and all of the water toys and all the water sports come out. So guests are enjoying themselves in the middle of the deep blue sea, which is, so refreshing and so beautiful. Extremely blue waters over there in Greece. So they're having a really great day. And then we have Caviar in the Surf, which is held in Carambola Beach, as well as Thailand. And this is when guests are sitting on the beach and they're just enjoying themselves. They're having a great day. There's a barbecue, so they're having lobster, their drinks. And halfway through the day, foghorns come blaring and you see a Zodiac pull up and those Seabourn flags flying. And guests will wade into the water and will roll out a paddleboard and put caviar and hand out champagne, and guests will eat caviar in the sea. So it's just extremely memorable moments, not to mention very, very photogenic moments, but extremely memorable moments that make guests have that extra special stay. And then taking those moments a step further, as I mentioned, is our team. So I remember during my honeymoon that I was in love with the butter chicken on Venture. Loved it. It's so good. Did you have the butter chicken while you're on?
Yes.
So
Yes.
because we have so many great curated dishes, sometimes you can go without seeing those dishes again. So I was on Venture and I had this, and I had not had it yet on Sojourn when we were traveling. I kept talking about it because I was obsessed with the food. And Yogi here decided to say, you've been talking about that butter chicken a lot. It was maybe 4 days left in the rest of the trip. And he said, come to the restaurant on your last evening and I have a surprise for you. So the surprise was a full butter chicken spread for us when it wasn't actually on the menu. So it was just a really, really phenomenal Seabourn moment. And, they had everything in the kitchen and just really pulled through to make it so that much special. We felt amazing.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to tell you. Now we're going to tell you our two. We're going to skip the one with Russ Roberts because we're only just going to give two. There's a PG-13 one that when you book a cruise with us, we'll tell you. When you book your Seabourn cruise, we'll tell you our Seabourn moment. That's PG-13. But I'll talk about Stembiso, who was assistant maitre d' in the main dining room. I forget what you guys call it. You call it the restaurant.
The restaurant. We're very original.
And our server was I think Zimbabwe, and he was South Africa, but vice versa. And a while ago, Laura had worked in an African restaurant, and so we started talking about Africa. Laura's big dream, 2025, we're going to go on this 4-year-long entourage, and I don't know, she's got a big thing planned for Africa. So she's a big Africa-phile, right? And so we're talking about it, and I'm bringing up Babodi.
Yes.
Babodi. Yeah, I'm saying it wrong like an idiot. Anyway, we're chatting, and I'd never had it. Laura had it at the restaurant. They had it. It's a common food. I show up a couple days later. Here comes Stembiso with Babodi, not on a menu. There's one South African or Zimbabwe chef in the kitchen who knew how to make it and made it just for me.
That's awesome.
So it's not even like your curry chicken where you could have gotten it some other day. This doesn't even exist in Seabourn. And bam, there was Babodi on my table.
Really?
I was all crew on all lines are really good. They're good people. They try hard, but I've never had a moment like that. That was just
you feel it.
That was extraordinary.
Really feel it.
You really can. Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. One other story. There was a gentleman in the pool with 3 of his friends, and it turned out it was his birthday. And one of the bar servers had overheard that it was his birthday, got a bottle of champagne and 4 champagne flutes, hopped into the pool in his complete uniform, popped the bottle of champagne, and served it to everybody.
That's so great.
Who does that?
Exactly. And he'll never forget it. He's going to remember it forever. And there's something about our crew. They love going into the water with their clothes on. They must love it because all of Caviar in the Surf is also all with clothes on. So they jump out of that Zodiac and they're serving you the caviar all in their clothes. So there seems like there's a theme there. But yeah. I'm glad you not only saw it for yourself, you saw it for another guest. I had seen it for another guest. I saw it for myself. And it truly, it's a lot of it has to do with the team and how empowered they are. They truly are. They are happy, and they're happy to make those decisions and those calls when they know it's going to make it that much better. So we talk about it, but it's hard to talk about it and not have someone really know or experience it, because otherwise it just sounds like kind of another story. But it truly makes a difference.
It does.
And the other thing I noticed also, when we go on other lines, especially the big ones, it's hard for them to know 2,000 guests, 4,000 guests, 6,000. It's hard for them to know them all. So sometimes you'll get a good bartender who remembers you over the week, but on this ship, everybody remembered you. I mean, and we were only on for 2 weeks. This wasn't a 2-month journey. This was 2 weeks. A few days in, Everybody knew who we were. They knew what drink we wanted. They know how we, like Laura wanted extra bread for dinner. Like they just knew everything right away. And they all knew. It wasn't just one rock star here or there. They were rock stars everywhere.
I know, which you really wonder. You really wonder how they do it, and it's a secret. It's totally a secret how they do it. I've asked the questions myself. I'm like, is there a cheat sheet somewhere? How do we do it? Truly, I think it's just being so happy to be there, and really just taking your job and ultimately your lifestyle just to that next level. It's a lifestyle. Seabourn is definitely a lifestyle. But what is really great is we have an alter ego with our lifestyles now. In a way, right? In a way, it's actually not so different for us, but Seabourn is now introducing our expedition ships. So Venture and Pursuit are our newest expedition ships. And we now have that really rugged itinerary, that expedition itinerary that we've been able to curate, and with 2 brand new ships. So a couple of things about this. We're not new to expeditions. We actually have been doing expeditions since 2013. Robin West, our vice president of expeditions, set sail on Quest. Quest was retrofitted, set sail on Quest, and over 10 years went back and forth to Antarctica. And really, truly just the team learned everything there was to know about what an expedition cruise needed to be successful, as well as all of the touch points that guests needed to feel that they were really just seeing those places, those never before seen places. So we have really taken our itineraries, we've taken them from off the beaten path to off the charts. We are now going to both polar regions with Venture. Pursuit will be our warm weather expedition ship. So she'll be going to all of the warm weather regions. So think the Amazon, think the Kimberleys. We have the South Pacific. But we're really excited to have these 2 on board with us and really have the knowledge of doing this for 10 years, because this is a kind of a new world that we're living in, and we're hearing more and more operators going down to the polar regions and doing the expedition cruises. But even though we have 2 brand new vessels doing it, we actually aren't new to it at all. And I do just want to point out that I say we have 2 brand new vessels. That means they are brand new. They are not purchased vessels from another line. They're not retrofitted vessels. They are brand new vessels we made. So exactly the way we wanted to see them be made and see our guests experiencing an expedition cruise. But many touch points on these, and we'll kind of just go over a couple, but they are PC6 certified. So that means they can go further through the ice. They get further down there. There's 30,000 square feet of deck space. So that's the largest to view on an expedition ship. And then one of my favorite touch points, if you will, is that there's a high definition camera on the ship. So let's just say you're on the cruise for 14 days and you see a polar bear on, at 2:00 in the morning, and the captain gives you a call. Instead of rushing out in chaos to go see the polar bear, the high definition camera will actually be capturing everything happening on land and streaming it into your TV, into your flat screen TV in your room. In addition, that will also be streamed into our Discovery Center. So our 21 of our 26 members of our expedition team will be going over exactly what's happening outside. So it's really, again, going back to the flexibility and nature of Seabourn, going back to kind of experiencing things how you wish to experience them, and in a simplified way. We're making sure we hit all the stops.
All right, hey guys, I don't know if something happened on your end, but on our end we saw some issues, and we've got it all sorted out. So Ava's going to take it back over. I did want to say one thing about the Venture and the Pursuit. The ships look gorgeous. I mean, when we were on Ovation, it was gorgeous, but the ships look even more gorgeous. I don't know how you could have attained that, but holy cow, are they pretty. We always talk about in our company extraordinary adventures, not just the ordinary. and already Seabourn is extraordinary, right? Clearly. And then your longer stays, your overnight stays, where you go around the world, that's all extraordinary. But now you've kicked it up with the expedition. Not only is the expeditions themselves more extraordinary, the ships themselves are. So, and but we're very excited to get on one. So we're looking for that free invite.
Let me know when you get it. I'll take it. No, we'll have to.
So I had a technical difficulty and I didn't hear the last couple minutes. Did you talk about the submersibles?
I have not yet. So
okay.
We will talk about
not yet. Okay, good.
We will talk about it. I mean,
cool.
Like, we'll get there. Throwing out the surprises already.
Sorry.
Oh, you're already hearing surprises. Oh,
extraordinary. But no, Scott, I'm super happy that you say that because we tried so hard. And I say it like I built the vessel, but we really did have 10 years of experience doing this and tried so hard to make sure that we took it to a whole new level with those itineraries. But one of the most important things for us was to not have it compromise on the luxury part of Seabourn whatsoever. And I think we really were able to achieve that with these and the touch points that we have on board. And when we talk about those again, we as I mentioned, the suites are rather similar throughout a lot of the Seabourn ships and a lot of our classes. However, on Venture and Pursuit, we have a couple differences with our suites. So the Panorama Veranda Suite is a brand new suite to Seabourn. So it doesn't exist on any of our other ships. And you'll see it there. It kind of has a bump out. So you're almost really over the ocean there. And then the best part about this suite is the heated floors. So this entire suite has heated floors. So now think about going through the ice and the expedition and coming back to your room and your suite host or your suite attendant just turned on the heated floor for you. So you're really comfortable.
That's cool.
Another really cool part about each suite, and this isn't everything, is that we have heated closets. So, when we were thinking about it, we were just thinking about it as, heated closets. You put your parkas in there, you'll put your boots in there, they'll dry off. And then for your afternoon excursion, you'll go out and you'll have warm heated jackets. Well, we were on the ship as a sales team and our director of sales didn't let anybody know that this is also a great idea when you're in the warm weather climates for your bathing suits. Or just for your slippers that come in each room, each individual suite. So it wasn't until the last day that I heard about that, and I was a little bit bummed out that I could have been doing that the whole time and drying off my bathing suits and having nice warm swimsuits. And another kind of difference in the suite on Venture and Pursuit is that our Winter Garden Suite, our largest suite, still exists. It's still there. However, it's a 2-story suite. And we always say from floor to ceiling windows. Everything has from floor to ceiling windows now. That's a beautiful view and arrangement to have on a ship. But now take a look at these because they're from the floor to the ceiling, but then they're double time. So it's so much light. It's so much natural light, so much beauty, a great ambiance that this room has. And then you have your own kind of bar area. So talk about your suite host, you're setting up cocktails or hors d'oeuvres. You can really entertain in here. So absolutely, again, curved edges. Adam Tahani just went ahead and did his thing and took it in an even more modern direction. The restaurant, as we've mentioned, is our main dining room. This is your main dining room on Venture and Pursuit. You do have the patio as well outside of the colonnade that will break off into Earth and Ocean, and you'll have the colonnade for dinner. But the restaurant is really the main dining room. We actually don't have Thomas Keller Grill on our expedition ship, so just do want to note that. But you do have sushi as well, and that's being served in the club each evening. So again, for such a small, quaint ship, the options are endless. So we have the bars and lounges.
Hold on. Does the sushi have that little weird green drink that we had that was amazing? What was it, hon?
Sake Verde.
Yeah.
Verde.
Yes.
You have it. Okay, because we sat down. We don't even know these people. Like, get the sake. Like, Oh, hi. Okay. And they were so
Yes.
right. And then we told the next people that sat down. Get the documentary.
That's awesome.
So you have that. Okay,
And we
good.
have,
You gotta have that.
and we have our cocktails. So everything as far as, except for Thomas Keller, has mainly been carried over into sushi. And excellent options. We have a couple of different lounges. So many of them are the same, but just to point out, a few of the differences are the Constellation Lounge, the Bow Lounge, and the Exploration Lounge. So that is really the heart. That's really where everybody gathers to do their expeditions each day in the Exploration Lounge. But the Bow Lounge, I want to point out, actually has, you can see those screens there at the top, and that has everything that the captain is seeing. So as far as the depth, where you are, how you're facing, that is being shown throughout the lounge. And as you know, I mentioned there's 26 expedition team members. I call them the ologists because they're super educated in their fields, and every single one of their field names ends with an ologist. So we call them the ologists, but I love it because they'll be walking around and telling you about exactly what the captain's seeing. So making sure you take a deeper dive into that destination. As we know, we have the club. So the club has been carried over, and that is exactly where you're going to end up at the end of the night, having those cocktails and listening to that live music. On board, we still have entertainment on board the expedition ship. So you'll have the entertainment every single night. And now, spoiler alert, our submersibles. No, that's okay, Laura. I'm only kidding. But we do have a number of ways that you can enjoy your expedition. So we have our hiking, snorkeling, scuba, zodiacs, kayaks. And in addition, every day you're going out once or twice on these itineraries. But we do have submersibles. So these are 2 on each ship, 2 6-seater submarines. And they'll go down, they'll see the destination from under. So it's really something when Seabourn is taking you to destinations and showing you them above the water where you would normally naturally see them. But we always say we want to go further and take our guests further. And we have completely done that, I would like to say, now with these submersibles. So they're really cool. You sit in them, and then there are 6 seats. And they'll go ahead and they'll turn around. So you have a 360-degree view as well. So that seat completely turns. And then you have your submarine driver, pilot in the middle. And then you have another set of 6 on the other side. So certainly awesome. There are champagne holders in there as well.
And there is no additional fee for that. That's included in the cost of the cruise.
There is an additional fee for that. So that'll range.
There is. Okay.
It is. Yes. So that'll range. It'll be a dynamic fee. So it'll range based on where you are, based on the destination, location, time of day, things like that. But we can expect to see that anywhere between around average $800-900.
Okay.
As kind of a base average. As I mentioned, your 26-person expedition team is on board with you to make sure, your hikes, your kayaks, everything that you do, you're understanding and really diving deep into that destination. You'll notice, we also have the Helly Hansen partnership here. So for every sailing, you're getting a Helly Hansen parka and a wet bag. So that way you don't have to worry about packing the parka. You don't have to worry about packing the wet bag. It's there for you. Once you...
Can I take it home?
Of course, it's yours. Yeah, it's beautiful. Honestly, it's beautiful. And Helly Hansen's just such a cool company in and of themselves that it's pretty nice to have it on the ship. And then not have to worry about packing.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you save some room in that suitcase, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. So let me ask you about the expeditions. Let's dive a little deeper before we move on to this slide here. Because we went on, ours was a Panama Canal sailing. And one of the things that I really appreciated was that the woman, doctor, professor lady, so knowledgeable. And she had been there like 4 bazillion times. And I think she built it. I don't exactly know. But she did 2 different presentations. We were only able to catch the second one. But then I wished I had caught the first. And then while we were transiting the canal, she was talking over the thing so we could, and I thought it was so amazing because oftentimes you go places and you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know why you're there. And that frustrates me because I'm spending a lot of money and a lot of time to go to these places around the world that are extraordinary, and then I don't know why I'm there. So when I'm on this expedition ship, are they giving presentations the day before, the morning of? Are they talking over the loudspeaker? Are they showing what you're like? How much knowledge am I getting, or am I just putting my foot on Antarctica and saying I don't know why I'm here?
No, if you put your foot on Antarctica and say, I don't know why I'm here, then we did not do our job as an expedition ship company. But no, absolutely, Scott. That's a great question. With us having 26 expedition team members on, it's actually one of the largest also in the expedition world. And we truly have them on for that reason. So you're not missing a beat. You are going to the Discovery Lounge and you're listening to their conversations and their talks. They're consistently walking around the ship. So a lot of times they are in the bow lounge because there's so much that's happening on those screens. They're walking around the ship. They're eating dinner with you. They are on the loudspeaker to tell you what this sighting is. And, if it's a rare sighting, especially with certain birds and certain kind of mammals out in these regions, we don't want the guests to miss those. I mean, there's chances that you're never going to even see these things on certain expeditions on trips. So we want to give every opportunity to know why it's so important to see it and make sure you do.
Yeah, because this is not your pina colada lie by the pool for 7 days type cruise. And yeah, you're not doing this because you want to do that. So no, so that's good. I figured the answer would be what you gave, but I just wanted to make sure because yeah, I like doing some research of the place that I'm going, but I also like to have it right there while I'm experiencing it. So that's good that the 26 is a lot of people. So that should cover it.
Especially for 264, right?
Yeah.
So, and even a little bit about that, even our kayaks. So our kayaks too, when you think about kayaks, a lot of times it's drop them in the water and, go paddle around and see what you can see. And they're absolutely not like that. So we have different groupings and we have groups on board, and there will be an expedition leader out there to take you out and, kayak with you, show you around, show you everything that you need to know. So it doesn't stop. Everything is completely planned out on a cruise like this.
That's good.
So
all right, I won't.
No, you're fine. We do have our pursuit itineraries out, and right before you take a look at those, a really great way to see and experience the ship for those that maybe are not expedition cruisers just yet, don't want to go to the polar regions or these exotic locations. We actually have 6 sailings. I highlighted 3 here, but we have 6 sailings through the Med that are great economical options. They are kind of bare bones sailing, if you will. No entertainment on board. However, it's a great way for guests to get on board and really touch and feel and experience the ship. So there's a couple highlighted there. They're just going to go through the Med in the month of August prior to the itineraries, the expedition itineraries that Pursuit will do. And we just announced that we get to take her to the Kimberleys. So this is an example of one of our Kimberley itineraries that you'll see. And for those of you that don't know about the Kimberleys, I actually took a learning lesson on them. They are located in the northwestern corner of Australia, and they are comprised really of the last wild frontiers. So you really have everything from mountainous regions to deserts to water landscapes, waterfalls. You have everything in this part of the world, and it doesn't exist anymore. So certainly a really great expedition cruise to take. And I mean, how could you want to miss out on something like that? So headed back to Antarctica and just having that experience this picture kind of sums it up and puts it into words, but there's not much that's like that. And right now, in addition to what Laura and Scott can get all of their clients with us, we have our public promotion, which is up to $4,000 in shipboard credit. So make sure you ask Laura and Scott about that, in addition to any other special amenities that they might have. Wink, wink, wink.
And don't forget, but though, that this is March of 2023. So if you're watching this in 2 years, you'll have to call us and see what's going on at that time.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I mean, that is actually it for me today. So I can stop sharing. I think I've done that.
Yeah.
You did.
Awesome.
You did.
Awesome.
You got questions? Because I got questions.
Yeah.
Questions? No, I just thank you very much. That was very in depth and knowledgeable, and I hope that our viewers out there in YouTube land have learned something.
Oh, they have, for sure. That was a really good presentation.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: as you're doing the Antarctica thing, you're not driving by, right? You're actually popping onto Antarctica.
Yeah, that's
that's one of the things that Laura and I, why you would want an advisor is because Antarctica is a great example where you think, well, X line goes there and it's cheaper. Well, you wind up doing a drive-by and you never actually go to Antarctica. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you need to know what it is you're buying before you buy it. So that's another, not to sell ourselves, but it's selling ourselves, but it's also selling Seabourn, because Seabourn actually, you get your butt next to the penguins.
100%.
Right.
That's real footage.
Yeah.
We've seen it over and over again, our guests really having those encounters. But yeah, you're right. And we go to Antarctica, and that's what that PC6 certification is for. It's so we can belly up right next to the glacier or right on the ice and make sure our guests are literally taking the stairs right down and putting their feet in the ice. So we're not taking any shortcuts, and we're going around our Antarctica, right? We're going through all of the different islands. Yeah, we are really proud of where we can take our guests at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, like Scott was saying, there's times when people book a cruise and they don't know what they've booked because they didn't hire a travel advisor. And another odd thing is with Alaska, because I know you go to Glacier Bay National Park, whereas many other cruise lines don't, they are not able to, because they only allow 2 cruise ships in to Glacier Bay National Park every single day. There are only a handful of cruise lines that are able to do that. And I know Seabourn is one of them. And that it's so important to work with a travel advisor, because they're going to give you the tips and the tricks about where to go and what to see and what to do and what cruise line is going to be best for you. And if you just pick a cruise line and you think, oh, I'm going to Alaska, but Alaska is it's very different. So I absolutely agree that, yeah, I think Seabourn's great because it is a smaller ship. It is able to get into the spots that some of the larger ships aren't able to do. Yeah,
totally. I think it's great too. I must say, I really do. And I don't know if I'd be in cruise if it wasn't for Seabourn. But another thing I want to point out that I don't think I really touched on as much is that when you're looking at these itineraries, and when clients are looking at these itineraries, they're going to ask you and say, well, why does it look like there's 2 days at sea, but X company can do it in 1 day at sea? It's not necessarily that we think it's going to take us 2 days to get there. But one of the things that Seabourn did, and I think this is something that we have done really well, is we've programmed additional time into the expedition itineraries so that if there is a sighting, if there is something that we are seeing, or if we know that, the tides have changed, there's something coming, we have that additional time to stay and make sure we wait it out and make sure guests are there and getting the experience that they want. So we don't want to say, oh, we just sat there for, a whole day and now we just saw a polar bear pop out and, oh, sorry, but we got to go. We're going to program a little extra time in to make sure we can deliver that experience. And one of the things that happened actually on the very first sailing, and still does, is that guests they wanted to do the polar plunge. They were in the Arctic. They wanted to do it. They were like, let's get it going. So sure enough, the word got to our captain, and sure enough, he stopped the ship And we had our medical staff on board, our crew on board, our Zodiacs out, and guests that wanted to take the polar plunge absolutely jumped themselves right into the water and then swam back up. So we wouldn't have been able to do that if we had programmed so much into the itinerary. So, and now that is becoming kind of a rite of passage here at Seabourn to do the polar plunge on the expedition cruises.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Once in a lifetime opportunity.
I'm good.
Good. I know. I honestly, I think about it all the time. I always, toss it back and forth. Would I or wouldn't I?
Yeah, no. But I'll also vouch for it because there's a couple of blue collar things that I always talk about because she's your fancy one over there. Your burgers are amazing at the patio, so there's that.
Napa burger.
And of course, you can get it with a beer. You don't have to drink Laura's fancy wines. Have a nice beer and a burger on the patio, like a real guy. And then your pizza. Laura screwed me up on the first day, tried it and said, meh. So I waited all 14 days. At the end, I'm like, let me at least give it a shot. I'm like, no, what? This is really good. And I don't know what she had that was not, because, so your pizza was...
I appreciate that. As a fellow New Yorker, hey, listen, everyone listening. Listen,
I was just saving your calories, Scott.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Those are not... No.
You favors. Aw, that's sweet.
You don't have the best pizza at sea, but you have very good pizza.
I really do. I really do agree. And the Napa burger is 100% a burger to get on the ship in the patio. The patio is cool, right? You can sit there and you can get whatever you want from the buffet. But in all of our restaurants, you have those meals that you can also order, and every menu changes every single day, so you don't get bored or anything.
Yeah, and a lot of people will focus on the buffet. Your colonnade is very different. It's very different. It at night isn't much of a buffet, right? They may have some things there, or they completely whatever it is. But we loved the colonnade more than the restaurant's fancy, have nice serves, good, whatever. I want to be out there because it's a ship. I'm on a ship. I'm on a cruise, and it's a beautiful place to have dinner. The service is fantastic, and then your buffet options at lunch, and breakfast are not regular. I mean, it's really good stuff.
Love that.
I guess, again, I'm like the blue collar guy here, and I want my buffet and my burger and my pizza, and you knock it out of the park on all of them. So that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. I know what you mean about the colonnade. One of the nights that I had dinner out there, my husband and I were sitting out there, and we were in Lisbon. So we were just looking at the city. And I mean, your backdrop changes every single day, right? So why not have dinner out there and see what it looks like?
It's gorgeous. Yeah. Well,
Great.
Any other last questions, Scott?
No, I could talk Seabourn all day, though.
I know. So can I.
I guess we do have to wrap this up.
Yeah. I thank you so much. And anyone, if you are interested in booking a cruise, please do reach out to us. We would love to help you. And if you like this video and you'd like to see more of videos like this, please like and subscribe with the notification bell on. That lets us know that what we're doing is right and you want to see more of it. So with that,
Super hard. Don't forget about the super hard. New thing that if you watch our videos from 18 months ago, Laura forgot about the subscribe and thumbs up, and I'd have to remind her every time. Now we're doing the super hard thing. Super hard.
So I thank you so much. And
thank you.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely. What you guys do for us is excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So bye for
Cool.
now.
Bye for now, guys. Bye.
Bye.